y'all doing? This Monday, the last Monday of the month, and Gemini new moon stuff. Now it's a holiday for some people. To me, I'm always off on Monday, so it wasn't really a long weekend. It was just a regular weekend for me. But hopefully, y'all have been able to enjoy your holiday weekend, and thank you for being here as we set intentions for our this Gemini new moon, which is Gemini season is always pretty interesting. You know, it's about duality really and embodying that versus, you know, I know sometimes Gemini get a bad rap for being two-faced, but really it's about being able to not necessarily turn the other cheek, but to see different perspectives. Maybe present yourself, you know, kind of reminds me of like the dramedy, what do you call it, mask. You know, you have one that's smiling and then you have one that's kind of sad or whatever. But those are all still part of human emotions that make us, you know, who we are. It's a natural part. Our emotions and expressing that is a part of who we are. So sometimes, you know, we show up differently in different spaces, different places, and for different people. We have to switch our roles. So maybe, you know, in a way we can kind of expand with Gemini being an air sign and being about the mind and the intellect. Maybe we can expand our perspective of how we see Gemini, not necessarily as two-faced, but having two faces that it can present, different roles that it plays. I know we all do that. Sometimes might have to go from, you know, being mother, friend, a sister, to employee, to superwoman, to counselor, to chef, and those sorts of things. But just because you are shifting from one archetype or one way of expressing yourself and, you know, adapting to the needs, the demands of another time or another place or another person doesn't necessarily mean that you are two-faced, right? It's just you're understanding a little bit more of duality and that mutable energy of being able to adapt and to shift, right? So there is a strength in that, and I think the more we with Arcana ATL, me and Sydney, moving forward, I kind of like breaking down, you know, those different stereotypes and different ways that the collective may see a particular sign or a season or a time, just so that we can really get a bigger picture, right? We can expand our viewpoint, expand our mind, and also expand our heart space and how we connect to the energy. So with that being said, a couple cards already come out, but I was running my mouth, so we'll see. Okay, that goes right in alignment with what I was just talking about. You know, just being able to adapt. I heard the number 5 today, which I think was interesting. Normally I hear like 4 or 14 for some reason, but I heard 5 today, which this is the last Monday. It's the 5th month, and if I'm not mistaken, yes, it is also the 5th Monday of the 5th Monday of the month as well. So we got 5-5, and it's kind of, well, there's 5 of y'all on here. So there we go, 5-5-5. We're creating some positive shifts and change today, y'all. And with that being said, it's actually very interesting. I talk about how, you know, I show up here to facilitate and to hold this space for you all, but it's also you help to hold that space for me to show up as well. So I have been it wasn't last night, maybe the night before or something, I was meditating and doing Reiki on myself, and I was just like, you know what, I'm ready for change. I'm ready to embrace change in, you know, particular relationships, specific relationships, change in how I relate to, you know, myself and who I am, and, you know, embracing that. There's a little bit of grief sometimes that comes with change and stepping forward in a new direction. Sometimes we do have to grieve our old selves and what was comfortable to us before we move into this new space. And so once again, that's like overriding your fear with faith. But I think tonight's message of independence from the Egyptian goddess Bast is very timely. And she says, your independence is a foundation for your strength and your success. Okay, so maybe the way we shift our perspective, the way we see ourselves, we can kind of do that in a way that allows us to be more in alignment with our truth, more authentic, and that authenticity will help us to embrace our independence. All right, so with Miss Bast here, they put in here rhymes with mass. Bast rhymes with mass, makes sense. The Egyptian goddess Bast transforms into a cat each night to protect her family and those who call upon her with her all-seeing night vision. She exhibits her cat-like qualities of femininity, which include gracefulness, independence, playfulness, and intuition. Bass also works with cat lovers to help their feline companions. Great, because I need to rehome him, so if you can help me out with that, girlfriend, that would be lovely. But the daughter of the sun god Ra, Bass has the rare distinction of being both a moon and a sun goddess. So I think that's pretty cool because we have the moon in Gemini season, and the sun is also in Gemini season. So how divinely timed is that message? And for me, trying to rehome my cat, it's great. Hopefully she can help me with that. So unless any of y'all want a Maine Coon, that okay. But go ahead and just take a moment and check in with your physical surroundings. As you take in all of your physical surroundings, allowing yourself to get settled in this physical space. Begin to take a few deep breaths, gently closing your eyes. Maybe just take a few rounds of breath. Inhaling, expanding the belly, the heart space, the mind. As you exhale, releasing any tension within the mind. Feeling the heart soften. Allowing yourself to squeeze all of that air out. And then inhaling once again, expanding the belly, the heart space, the mind. But when you get to the top, just hold for just a moment. Hold your breath and exhale. Release. As you squeeze all this old air, all this old energy out at the very bottom, hold your breath once again. And inhale, expanding the belly, heart space, mind. Hold it at the top. Exhale, sigh it all out and release. And just take a few more rounds of breath in this manner. You don't have to hold the breath at the top. If you don't want to, you don't have to hold the breath at the bottom. If you don't want to, but just allow the breath to become rhythmic and fluid. Noticing the duality of breath. The inhale fills you. The exhale allows you to surrender and soften. The holding of the breath at the top of the inhale has a certain sensation. And as you exhale, if you hold the breath at the bottom, it also has and creates its own sensation. But just allow yourself to flow. To relax and just breathe. As the breath continues to flow, know that the breath is a space that you can always come back to whenever the mind begins to wander or drift. So allow the breath to bring you into this moment. Notice where you are in your thoughts. Notice how you're feeling in your emotions. How are you feeling this evening in your body? See how much you can surrender. Do you relax the crown of your head, allowing that to open to divine guidance, the wisdom of your higher self, the truth, and just the guidance that is here for you this evening. Allow this sense of ease and relaxation to begin to move through the body, allowing the front of the mind and the back of the mind to relax, the left and right side of your face relax. You allow your tongue to fall away from the roof of your mouth if it was there, and allowing your jaw, your neck, both shoulders to relax. As you begin to find more stillness in this moment, the sense of ease and relaxation continues to move down through the arms, to the elbows, the forearms, your wrists. Fills your palms, back of your hands, thumbs, index finger, middle finger, ring fingers, pinky. You give yourself permission to just let go. See how deeply relaxed you can allow your body to become. Continuing to move through the body, allowing the heart space to soften, your chest relaxes, your upper back relaxes, your entire torso, all the way down, that sacred womb space, allowing that space to relax, to breathe deeply, and just allowing this feeling, this sensation, this intention to move down to the thighs, your knees, your shins, and your calves, your ankles, top of your foot, the soles of your feet, your big toes, second toe, third, fourth, and little toes, all relax. This particular practice of deep relaxation, checking in with both and all sides of the body, front and back, left and right, above and below. Gives you an opportunity to check in with yourself, to connect with your body, so that you can truly refine this instrument, your body, allowing it to strengthen not only your sense of self, but your connection to the wisdom that lies within. And when you begin to trust, to follow this wisdom, you gain an unrivaled independence as you become more of who you are, more authentic, more in truth, more in alignment. And the more joyful, happier, purposeful you can show up, walk forward in your journey. Your independence is the strongest foundation for your strength and your success. Can you shore up more faith in yourself? How would that feel to give yourself the praise, the love, the flowers that you give your friends and loved ones? You see, at times we become so focused on our relationships and those things that are outside of ourselves, whether it's through the media or through organizations, business, work, family. But never forget that you are also deep within, fiercely independent. And yes, although independent, you still need playfulness and affection. But this message comes to you as guidance to be sure that you are balanced in both your social interactions as well as your solitude. Call back all of your energy from today, from this weekend. You can do so by sensing it, feeling it, setting that intention. However, if your imagination chooses to take you there, you can just visualize gold ball of light sitting above your head. And like a magnet, this golden ball of light, this orb of divinity, draws all of your energy into it, filters it, heals it. And anything that comes through that is not of your truth or does not serve you and your highest good is automatically filtered out. You see, the area in which this golden orb sits above your crown is the space of your higher self, your 8th chakra. If you would like to identify it with that or as that. And golden orb draws all of your energy back to it. Maybe you add in some playfulness. Maybe you need a little zest in your life. Maybe you need something that feels fulfilling and good. Maybe you need a sign. Whatever it is that you choose to have for yourself, just place that in this golden orb. Maybe seeing the words or just knowing that it's there. When this magical ball of light feels nice and full, all that you intend to receive for yourself in this moment, you allow its contents to pour into you, flowing from the bottom of this golden orb. And as this energy, this liquid light, makes its way through you from head to toe, allow yourself just to receive and just breathe, just notice. Allow it to move through you slowly, like liquid gold pouring into you from above. When you feel completely filled with this essence, just hold that space for a moment. Give yourself permission to really feel into it, lean into it, just be completely immersed. As much as you give, you are more than worthy, receiving in return. The energy you give, your presence, is valuable. So make sure that you receive that of value in return, so that you can maintain balance within and out, above and below, embodying the duality and that space finding wholeness. See, although you may ask others and seek the advice of others and their opinions, ultimately it is you that must make the decision. It is you that must take the reins. It is you that creates your life. It's time to prioritize your freedom, your independence, your joy and happiness. And tonight's message reminds you to ensure that these characteristics of yourself are nurtured. What areas of your life feel imbalanced? How can you take intuitively guided action steps? Bring balance into those areas. Perhaps it's time to take control of your schedule. Maybe it's time to acknowledge any people pleasing tendencies, become more assertive in saying no or no thank you. Maybe it's about managing your time better, being realistic of how much you truly have on your plate. What is your priority? What is your intention for that area of life? Maybe it's time to change lifestyle habits or implement healthy boundaries in your friendships, relationships. Maybe it's time to be real about certain expectations you have of yourself or of others. Perhaps you're naturally a giver, but you have a hard time allowing yourself to receive. So just think about it. As women, we tend to naturally be givers and nurturers, helpers. Unfortunately, this can sometimes put us in a space of lack or not being fulfilled because we have not allowed ourselves to receive. Maybe this is an opportunity to release any beliefs that receiving is weak, or that you are undeserving, or that you have to work hard for it. You got to earn it, which is actually very masculine energy. What if you decided today to shift your perspective? What if you chose today for the scales to swing the other way? And the more you allow yourself to receive, the easier it is to give. Because now you are more resourceful. It doesn't take anything from you. It creates no sense of struggle to give because you also allow yourself to receive. How would it feel to exist in that flow? If you need an example of what that feels like, just come back to the breath. On the inhale, you receive. See how easy that is? It's actually needed. As you exhale, you give, you release. So inhale all of the things that you need right now. Exhale anything that feels like a block or might be standing in the way of that. Maybe what's in the way is you. Your thoughts, your feelings, the opinions of others, your worries of what they may think or feel, which you will never truly know. So let it go. Come back to the breath. Come back to your body. Come back home to self. as we move into various meanings and interpretations for tonight's message. If one resonates, if they all resonate, allow that resonance to take you deeper. Really feel into it and ask yourself, how can I take action in this way? First meaning is to spend time alone. Have you been giving too much of yourself? Have you been doing the most? And just know that that is okay. There's no need for shame or judgment. It's just an opportunity, if that message resonates, that it is okay for you to withdraw for a moment. It is okay for you to be alone and to just sit with yourself, to be still in solitude, quiet, and just relax. Second meaning is to give yourself permission to play. Have you been working hard or just not allowing yourself to truly enjoy life? Sometimes when we see the chaos and despair that's happening in the world, it can cause us to feel a little guilty for enjoying our life, but it doesn't mean that you are apathetic. Once again, you can only pour from a full cup. And in times of darkness and despair, light is needed. Your happiness, your joy, your playfulness is still of purpose. If it creates balance and harmony within yourself and within your life, it creates a ripple effect of that throughout all of humanity. With each kind word that you say to a stranger, with each smile that you share, each hug that you give, your playfulness, your joy, your happiness, your light is of service and of purpose. Third meaning, this one I feel deeply, is to ask for your needs to be met. What are your needs? What do you need spiritually? What do you need mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, sexually? What do you need? to feel alive, to feel in the flow, feel the unconditional love and support that is here and surrounds you. Identify your needs and ask for them to be met with ease and grace. Another meaning and interpretation is to make your own decision. What is it that you want? Whether it's just in your life right now, your future, a certain area of life, what do you want? Make a decision. For indecision is also a choice. But indecision is not going to bring your intentions, manifestations into reality. Make a decision and see what happens. And whatever shows up, if it serves you, great. If it's not, and it could use a little tweaking, well, then now you have a foundation to go from, to grow from. And you can ask for your needs to be met now on that level. Make a conscious, clear decision, a refined decision on what you want then. Once you've made a decision based off your own truth and what feels right, your soul, your heart, spirit, stay focused. It is your focus that continuously tells spirit what it is that you want. It is your focus that holds that vibration in your energetic field. It is what attracts that desire, that intention or experience to you. When you make a clear, conscious decision, the universe moves in your favor. So if you are seeking change, decide what it is that you want to change, decide how you want that to look, feel, show up. And then once you make that decision, stay focused. All is working in your favor. Trust. And it is so. When you are ready, take a deep breath once again. Love and gratitude in your heart. Self-validation, being here and showing up. And then you'll begin to bring some gentle movements in fingertips and toes, allowing that to move into the wrists, ankles. Beginning to bring some bigger movements into the body, and some neck rolls, shoulder rolls, twists, stretch. And as always, giving yourself some love, taking this time for yourself, meditate, prioritize your mental and emotional health. And when you're ready, another deep breath. Exhale it all out. Open your eyes. Come out of it. All right. Sorry for that clamoring of the bowls near the end there. My nose started running, so I went to go get tissue and I accidentally tripped and knocked some bowls over. So hey, that was fun. Let's see. What does the collective? So the message that I received, and it came through a little earlier today. Double check if that was still relevant in this moment. But earlier I was speaking about, your independence and how sometimes we get bogged down, right, by expectations. And sometimes those expectations, we don't realize on what levels we're picking them up. Meaning, sometimes obviously we have expectations of ourselves. It can be based on what our soul is wanting us to do, our spirit, our path, our dharma, our purpose in life. So that is always the influence or an expectation, more so on behalf of spirit, right? But your soul, whatever contracts that you chose to have and do and experience in life. But we also, on a very human level, we have expectations of what it means to be human, what it means to be female, what it means to be, white, what it means to be black, what it means to be biracial, what it means to be, short, what it means to be tall, what it means to be this race or that race or ethnicity. And then there's, expectations just within our families of, like maybe you're the older sibling or the younger sibling, maybe you're the only kid, only child. There's expectations that come with that. And so you have familial expectations with family, you have societal ones, you have cultural ones, you have generational expectations. So it can be pretty heavy sometimes, those expectations, and it can kind of weigh you down, and you can feel sort of like compressed and stuck in a certain space or having to be a certain way. And that can feel very confining and restrictive and not fun. Okay. It just doesn't feel fun. Um, However, when you embrace those aspects of yourself that says that this, I don't like this, I don't really want to do this, or do I? I'm not sure, and you allow yourself to start to discern, right, through your body's awareness as an instrument of divination. And that's your intuition, when you start to use your body, then you start to understand what is a yes, what feels like a yes, and what also feels like a no. A couple ways that works, I know personally, is kinesiology, but they call it muscle testing. There's a couple different ways you can do muscle testing. So it'd be kind of like using your body as a pendulum, basically. And there's the two ways that I muscle test for myself. I can do that out obviously as a massage therapist with clients and stuff. I can muscle test them for imbalances within their body. But it is a little different when you're doing it for yourself. So there's two ways that I like to get a yes or no, at least when I was beginning my spiritual journey, and that very subtle yes and subtle no wasn't well, it wasn't subtle. So it's harder to read. It's more nuanced, but the more I grew to practice this, then it became um, more significant and more solid. And so one way you can test is by, if I could, I'd stand up right now. But if you're standing up, all right, ask yourself a yes or no question, a definitively yes or no question, like, hey, is my name Keisha? And notice how your body responds to that. It might feel light. It might feel like, "Yeah, that's true. Nothing to do, nothing to move, nothing to feel necessarily." So it might feel very neutral. It could also, your body might actually also sway forward. Okay. I've noticed that here, sometimes my yes in my body, it kind of will sort of, I'll feel like a little bit of a shift forward. And to me, that's like, yes, you're going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. Um, However, and we do this naturally, right? We're like, oh no, what your body naturally goes back. When we don't like something, someone's like, you want this? No. Smell this? No. So you naturally kind of move away from something. So how to understand or program your body as far as a yes or a no, and to understand your body as a tool of divination, is to ask a certain yes or no question. Feel if your body moves forward, or maybe it doesn't do anything, maybe it feels, but if it's a no, maybe you feel like a ugh, or like a little bit of constriction, especially maybe in the solar plexus area where that is your energy distribution, your willpower. If something feels like a no, you probably want to feel it in your gut a little bit, because your intuition is giving you that gut feeling of no, but also energetically, If there is some sort of dissonance, right, meaning it doesn't resonate, then you're going to feel your energy draw inwards. And that can also be that feeling of something kind of like being restricted in here. But you don't have to be restricted in fear. It's just like, oh, I can feel like tension in my body. That lets me know I don't really want to do this. You know, you may also notice your body may go to the left for a yes or right to it for a no. So just play with that. That's a little homework exercise, but that'll help you to really tune in. Literally, when I say tune in, it's unintended, right? Because if you're an instrument, instruments have to be in tune for them to sound nice and harmonious or to be in harmony with one another. And so, anyways, that's one way you could do it. Another way is like finger loop. So you just make two little loops with your fingers and you'll just loop them together. And this one might be a little tricky for some, but like if I say it's my name Keisha, like it feels pretty firm, right? It feels like it's, but if I say it's my name Bob, it kind of just slips. My hand, the links kind of break. So that's another way that you can play with is the word divinating or divining, getting information. All right, that's another way to channel energy and just kind of ask yourself, like, oh, okay, And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when you start to learn what is your yes and what is your no, like in the I know on Instagram right now, it's human design everywhere. I'm like, okay, so what it's about. And for me is in my, I guess it's my human design is I'm a generator, and I've known this about myself, but it never really made sense until I did this human design test thing. And it says like basically for someone like myself, I like a yes just feels like it's so like yes, it just feels natural to me. And anything that doesn't light me up or anything that doesn't really feel good in a way, it that's my no. It's pretty much my no. And I know that now. There's times where I will be resistant or hesitant towards something because I really don't want to do it. But then my mind is trying to, oh, but you should because yada, 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 but then my body is like, ugh. And then so what happens is I start to subconsciously sabotage things because I don't want to do it. My conscious mind is saying I should because that's what's expected. My subconscious mind is like, I don't know, this is not for me. But what happens is when the two come together, next thing you know, I'm self-sabotaging something. Because, and when I now at this point know, when I start to self-sabotage something, I try to nip it in the bud. Because that self-sabotaging lets me know this is not in alignment. I really don't want to do this. And so then I just find a different way, or at least shift my perspective of it so that perspective creates an opportunity for me to show up there and that energy in that space versus like over here. One thing that I could say as an example is going to work. A lot of us don't want to do that, right? It'd be nice if we were all just randomly rich and didn't have to work. However, those days where I don't want to, go put my elbow in someone's glute or whatever, I just have to tell myself, like, yeah, okay, but guess what, Keisha? If you self-sabotage and don't go to work today, because you just don't feel like it, then what happens? Well, you don't get paid that day, then your paycheck gets short, you get mad at yourself, and then you start to wallow in your sorrows, and you can't do this, and then once I get to that place, I'm like, yeah, let me take my ass home. Let me get my ass up, go to work. And I'm like, and it's for an hour. So it's all about perspective. But to me, like I said, that's that. Some of it's obviously I'm a Libra, so I want to see both sides of the story. But also that's that this Gemini season of being able to shift your perspective again of something, and maybe having to show up in a way that's different. Show up with a certain energy or intention that may necessarily not be what is always expected or what's comfortable or what's tried and true. However, it does give you an opportunity to see how dynamic you also are as a being and as a woman. And it helps you to take back control of the situation, and it also helps you, guess what, to be independent. Okay, and that is your foundation for strength and success. So the guidance this week is to fine tune, your body as an instrument of divination, so that you can be more in alignment with what serves you, what feels right, what doesn't, and you can strengthen your intuition so that that inner guidance becomes stronger. You hear it clearer, you feel it more, you trust it more. It allows you to evolve and really, really experience the beauty that life has, okay, for you. So that is that. And if there's one other thing I kind of feel pushed to say, spirit kind of pushed, is I haven't really taught this in a traditional form yet, but if you've been doing meditation for a while, you've probably been kind of doing this a little bit. So I've been talking about this thing called yoga nidra, and if you Google it or go on YouTube, it's Nidra, nidra, and basically I kind of like this with Gemini season because what they do is it's not hypnosis and it's kind of a meditation but not. It's really nice to do when you're laying in bed going to sleep, because it helps you to decompress what you might be holding in your body. A lot of times we don't know, or we're not even aware that, oh, my shoulder's been up here all day, so and so it also helps you decompress, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally as well, spiritually. But yoga nidra is pretty cool because the guided meditations on it that I've had experienced on YouTube, I just like that they go with like the left ear, relax your left ear, relax your right ear. And you're like, what? But then when your mind goes there, it's like, oh, so it brings your mind into doing something in the present moment, but the mind is always going to do something. So it gives your mind something to do that's the present moment, but that's also very deeply healing and therapeutic to yourself as well. But what I love about the yoga nidra practice is when it starts to compare like your right shoulder and your left shoulder, and the right hip and the left hip. I personally think this is something that's helped heal my scoliosis and also just heal my body. I'm 41 years old. I have no aches and pains, no health issues, thank God. But I think it's because I've been doing this kind of a practice for years and I didn't know it. But it helps me to feel, oh, if my right shoulder is tight and my left one feels more loose, then I try to find that space of balance in between. And not only does it increase my awareness of self, but also guess what, that shoulder relaxes. And now I get to be more aware of my body in a very intimate way. Okay, so that's your other homework assignment for the week. If you want to try that this evening, you are more than welcome to. That's kind of that duality sort of playing space, playfulness as well. And so, yeah, we'll be, Sydney had a family thing going on, and so we will be hosting our our new moon tomorrow evening, I believe. So we will keep you posted. Okay, that'll be TBA. And outside of that, have fun with your homework. Fine tuning yourself as this lovely instrument of divination. And see you next week.